cool kids and cool cats? It is me, Gannon, and we are back. Today, we are going to be reviewing another episode of Star Trek. Today, we are going to be reviewing Star Trek Season 4, Episode 2, of Star Trek Discovery. It's Thanksgiving. Today's episode is coming out on Thanksgiving, so if you are American, then you will be giving thanks today, eating food with your family, hopefully, and of course, celebrating the hundreds of years that we have taken advantage of and exploited indigenous people for their land. Woohoo! Trail of Tears, let's go! But yeah, jokes aside, if you are American, I really do hope you have a good Thanksgiving. Aside from our kind of bloody and up history, this is a dope holiday where you do get to eat some really delicious food and you do get to be thankful for the blessings that you have in your life. This episode today is a slightly depressing one that deals with grief because, as you know, in the last episode, Quajon went bye-bye, and that also includes Book's brother and his little nephew. Book trips the hell out this episode and just sees his nephew walking around constantly. They go and try to investigate the anomaly, the big, scary anomaly that's going on this season. But yeah, with all that being said, let's just quickly get into it because I am way too tired and I really do need to get this review out. Whew, have I been working a lot this week, especially with like Thanksgiving coming around. It was like weirdly busy today. Saru is back, guys, and he is wearing the 4 pips. He has still got the rank of captain. His captain's uniform looks amazing. He's got this Kelpian badge of community service on it. We actually learn in this episode that Saru, so he is just merely like a council member of one village on Kaminar. The scene from the last episode really made it seem like it was a little bit more important than that, like maybe it could have been the Senate of the whole planet, but it really does seem like Saru isn't like the president or anything. He isn't even that important. Also, just kind of considering the scale of Star Trek, that is kind of generous to even give the ruling body of a planet that cool of a room, so I really did think that Saru had some clout. It was also revealed to us that he was offered the command of a starship named the U.S.S. Sojourner, and this is obviously named after Sojourner Truth, but he denied it, and now he is joining the Discovery on their pursuit of information about the anomaly, and he is joining them as first officer, as the number 1. He will still hold rank as captain, so there will be like 2 captains on the bridge, but the acting captain, the person who actually has authority over the bridge, will be Michael. And because they don't really want him to be referred to as captain because that's a little bit confusing, they just decide to call him Mr. Saru, which is a very typical and traditional thing to do on a Federation starship. All the people at Starfleet HQ get together, all the captains, the Federation president. They come up with this theory that the anomaly is the merging of 2 black holes, just creating a crap ton of gravitational waves. But since this is just merely the first guess, this is definitely not what the anomaly is whatsoever. Book then abruptly comes into the room and then asks them to continue. Everybody looks at him and is kind of surprised why he is there. Like, why does he have clearance? He's not even Starfleet. He definitely shouldn't be in this room with all these really important people. I really honestly think that it's just because he's a victim of Quajon and they almost feel bad for him and kind of sympathize with him, so they let him sit in on the briefing because they feel like maybe he deserves to know this information. Also, on the round table, we get to see the Ferengi captain for the first time. Now, I know we've already got a glimpse of him and people are already chatting about it on Reddit and stuff. I don't think the redesign of the Ferengi looks too bad, especially when you compare it to like other redesigns. It's just like a really slightly more detailed Ferengi, and I think the ears and maybe the whole forehead is a little bit slightly different, but no, I don't think it looks half bad, and it's really cool getting to see a Ferengi captain this far down in the timeline. Captain Nog would be proud because you already know that Nog definitely made it to captain. In my head canon, that's totally the case, and especially because in the series, now we have the U.S.S. Nog, so that dude definitely went on to do something cool. Also, is the Federation president of Cardassian descent? I'm pretty sure I saw some people talking about this. I think she really does have some Cardassian ridges, and if that's the case, that is the coolest thing ever. Because I remember in like the TOS movie, we did get to have like a Klingon Federation president, but now that we have like a half human, half Cardassian, whatever hybrid, whatever species she is, it's just really cool to see. Tilly and Saru reunite and they're happy to see each other. They have a little chat about the sanctity of life, and Saru consoles Tilly after what happened last episode with the space station. Discovery is then sent personally to go and investigate the anomaly. Captain Burnham gives a speech to the crew before going to Black Alert, and then also, like, I give this speech actually like a 4 out of 10. It is not that well written, and I don't know if Sinequa was like slightly sick or having an off day, but it was just a little bit cringy. Even for Trek standards, I feel like the acting could have been a little bit better and the speech could have been a little bit more well written. Also, them leaving HQ, like leaving Starfleet HQ and just using the spore drive, looked amazing. It looked phenomenal. They get to the anomaly and then they apply a spectral spectrographic filter, and then everything just kind of gets really colorful and everybody gets super dramatic, like, whoa, crazy. But of course, from a viewer standpoint, we don't know what a spectrographic analysis is. We have no idea what's going up on the screen. Everybody's just sitting there gawking at it. Stamets then TPs to the bridge with the fancy new portable transporter badges. It's always really cool to see these things in action, especially because now they've been in the 32nd century for a while. It seems like they're super comfortable with using them. There's an issue with sending Discovery or even like the robots into the Anomaly because they don't have the correct mass, so they decide to use Book's ship. They have an argument because Michael wants to send Detmer to actually pilot the ship because she is really concerned about Book's mental state. He's just kind of completely shut down after what's happened to his home planet. So they just get into this argument and Book is really adamant on going and Michael has to make a decision on whether they are going or not. And then the big kind of like this episode is we go to sickbay with Culber, Adira, and Grey. Now that they are really aware of Grey's existence, like they know that Grey's consciousness and I guess like soul is residing in Adira somewhere, they have come up with a way to transfer those memories in that consciousness into a golem, a Soong type android golem, a direct reference to the one that they recently revealed and used in Star Trek Picard. Admiral Picard, spoiler, at the end of season 1 of Star Trek Picard, dies, and before he like goes brain dead and ceases to exist forever, they managed to put his memory engrams into a golem, therefore extending Picard's life. And they're going to do the same thing with Grey, and they even mention Admiral Picard in the episode. And even though I'm not totally content with season 1 of Picard, the events that took place, and oftentimes just kind of like the lazy writing and some of the lazy CGI, I found it weirdly cool how they decided to tie it in with Grey's revival. Grey requests a mole to be removed also from the Soong type android because he's a little bit like insecure about the mole, doesn't like it. This is also the first time where Grey mentions his transitioning, explicitly kind of coming out as a trans character. Saru and Michael have a great conversation about her decision regarding Book, and this is easily going to be the first really strong scene of this episode that invokes some real feelings from me. It's good to see both Michael and Saru finally getting the opportunity to like meld like this because they didn't really have the chance to do it before because they were so stressed out about the apocalyptic state of the 32nd century and also just that jump from season 2 to season 3. They were just constantly running all over the place. Michael was super emo, like they didn't have time to just get along or do anything. They were constantly arguing and Michael was acting up pretty much all of last season, if you guys remember. Stamets then goes aboard Book's ship using a hollow interface for safety reasons, and he's kind of abrasive about going in the first place because his relationship with Book is already kind of weird, and Book being in this funk now that Quajon is gone definitely won't help things, and it did not help things because Book decided to be a major asshole. Discovery then gets hit with this gravity wave while Book and Stamets are inside the Anomaly, and everybody goes, woo! They're floating around. It's that little crazy goofy scene from the trailer. They're floating around for a little bit. Explosions are going crazy. Everybody's bleeding a little. There's this cool interaction between Tilly and Adira where she assertively gets frustrated and tells Adira to recheck her work and data before implementing this kind of protocol or contingency that she's been writing into Discovery. Even though it seemed like Tilly kind of snapped and was being mean, I was personally proud of her. I was proud of her for bossing up, unleashing the beast, and being an assertive commander. By the way, Book is driving the ship around inside the Anomaly and tripping. He keeps on seeing his nephew everywhere. This data is so important, so they make the decision to break this tether that they have between Discovery and Book's ship to keep them relatively safe. They decide to just cut it and let Book like go loose. They decide to risk it all in order to get this data. Book and Stamets have a little heart-to-heart. Book thinks that Stamets is insecure about the fact that he can now use the spore drive, and that's the reason why he hasn't really been talking to him, when in reality Stamets doesn't like the fact that Book was able to use the spore drive to save Discovery and his family while Stamets was like not able to. He felt really frustrated and powerless about that. So after they go about and like admit this and they have this little heart-to-heart, obviously their relationship starts to improve. And then, oh my gosh, Lieutenant Commander Bryce actually does something. He comes up and gives some advice on how Book can actually fly out of the anomaly using a surfing wave technique. I'm so proud. It almost seems like Discovery's actually using all of their cast members in some way. It really starts to seem like Book is going to kick the bucket because he just keeps on hallucinating about things, so Michael decides to open up a private channel, and I really thought that she was about to do like some kind of intimate speech to him on the bridge, but actually this private channel, really cool. It's like a force field that goes over Michael and it blocks out all noise, so she's able to like talk over this private channel to Book and say like really close, intimate stuff without that inappropriateness of her saying it on the bridge in front of her crew. I just thought from a Star Trek standpoint that that was really smart and appropriate. Book reveals he feels so guilty about what happened to his brother and nephew, and then Michael asks him to just trust her as she guides him out of the field by riding a distortion wave. Then after everything is hunky-dory and they get the information, Tilly and Culber have this amazing conversation. It's a really good scene depicting her reaching out to Culber for like real psychiatric help as she's having some sort of mental strain. She says that she just doesn't feel like she usually does, like something's off. The episode ends with Michael consoling Book, and then Book comes to terms with what's happened to him and his family, and then there's this very, very dramatic scene of Tilly informing Saru that this anomaly just kind of does what it wants, goes where it goes, and is on this unpredictable path. So there might not be a way to combat it, and they might not receive any warning at all. Last thing I would like to quickly mention though is somebody did mention in the comments of last video how there has just been also a complete lack of mention of the sphere data. It's really weird. Why did they decide to come up with this new anomaly? Like, I know I'm calling it a little bit early, it's only the second episode, but this new anomaly better have some good writing. It better have some like twist that makes me want to find it interesting, because I find it so strange how they haven't decided to do something with the sphere data. Like, it's actually intertwined with Discovery. Discovery might become like the first sentient starship in a way. So yeah, for all those reasons, this episode is just getting a 5 out of 10 for me. Like, it's not bad, but it is in no way above average at all. There was some interesting developments, like the implementation of the Soon type android, but all in all, it was just really okay. And there were even some parts of this episode where I thought the acting was legitimately subpar, even for Trek standards, and even for Discovery standards. It's kind of a depressing episode also to watch on Thanksgiving. It's a holiday. Weird. And this episode just didn't really hit. It didn't hit all that much. It was okay, but you don't deserve a 6 out of 10. I'm sorry. It didn't hit that hard. I cannot tell you guys how much I really don't care about this stupid anomaly. Like, something like this in a normal Trek series would take up just one episode. I do not see how it's going to hold up my attention for 12 plus episodes. But what do you guys think? What do you think about the Soon type android? I thought that was bold. I kind of like that. I want to hear what you guys think about the Soon type android and the Picard reference. That was sick. This is like the second time they've decided to like reference Picard directly by name on Discovery, so that's pretty cool. With all that being said, thank you so much for watching another one of my Star Trek reviews. If you're celebrating Thanksgiving, I hope you enjoy the hell out of it. If you're enjoying any of the content on the channel, I'd be very flattered if you were to subscribe, join my Discord for discourse on the topics that we discuss on this channel, leave a comment down below. Please, I love YouTube comments. They're my favorite thing in the world. And with all that being said, live long and prosper.